Okay, from in between the last recording, I've been gone for almost an hour, but I'm back, and this will go over the remaining NES games, which is going to take a while, but here we go. Next up is Home Alone, and again, just as a reminder on why I'm doing this, it was about 2 years since I did something like this for my games, and in between the 2 years, I think I've gotten, like 160 more physical games in the last 2 years, which I would say most of that came from this year, because last year I was mostly getting manga, went through a big manga phase, and then the place that I was buying the books kind of slowed down, and what kind of sucks is this year, any popular series, the used books are actually more expensive now, which kind of sucks, but luckily the more obscured books are still the same price. Yeah, these are mostly kind of not interesting games. There might be some good. Some of these games might be pretty good. Wait a minute. Oh, I didn't even know we had this. I know what game that is. Silent Service. Yeah, I'm not really that extremely interested in collecting NES aside from just the fact that they're NES games, and my dad has always had a liking for NES. He also had a decent experience with SNES and even N64, but NES was his era. He got his NES, I think, when he was 13, so he definitely didn't get to play NES until later. Power pad required. Rad Racer. Is this the one where it was in the Wizard? Okay, so those are those games. Now let's get the next batch of games. Okay, here are the next batch of games. Oh, whoops. The Hunt for Red October. Caveman games. What else is there? Blades of Steel. All of them are gonna fall. Another unlicensed game. Rolling Thunder. Not Lords of Thunder. Baseball. Or some other games. You know, we got your Turbo Racing. You got your Super Sprint. Got your basketball. Got your basketball. Vegas Dream. Just plain old baseball. Operation Wolf. Double Dare. I actually watched a lot of that as a kid. Hollywood Squares. Spy vs. Spy. Freedom Force. Track Field 2. I didn't even know there was a first one, let alone 2. Gotcha by LGN. Hogan's Alley. Winter Games. And Skater Die. Alright, next batch of games. Let's see what's next to show off. Just football. Another unlicensed game, Afterburner. Heard that was also on the Sega Master System. Ghostbusters 2. What does this say? Barai Fighter? Battle of the Olympus. Let's see, what's this? Overlord. California Games. Dash Galaxy. A lot of these games are very strange. Demon Sword. I can't remember if this game is actually decent. Bumpin'. I thought that almost said bump and dump, bump and jump. What does it say? Dragon Spirit, the New Legend. Let's see what are some other games. RC Pro-Am. It's a pull game. Win or lose or draw. It's a weird cover. Tecmo Bowl. Time Lord. Base Wars. What the heck? This game is horrendous. Couldn't even imagine paying $20 for that. Legend of Kage. Another football and Rampage on NES. Alright, next batch of games. We're getting more into the better games, but not quite yet. Legendary Wings. Hockey. I try Legendary Wings, it's too difficult for me. Pro Wrestling. Got your Bubble Bobble. Silver Surfer. It says to be one of the hardest NES games. It's not that hard. It's pretty hard. Yonoid. That game to me was actually harder. Fester's Quest. This is my my dad's fourth favorite NES game. Excite Bike. Life Force. That was too difficult. I just couldn't beat it. Couldn't get past the third stage. Refused to use the code. Marble Madness. Tailspin. I actually did a live stream that I privated because it didn't go so well. Dr. Mario. Now we're getting to some AVGN stuff. Rambo. Roger Rabbit. Terminator. I actually beat this game. Just wanted to mention that because of how horrible it was. Journey to Silius, which was actually going to be a Terminator game. Sector Z. It's a very rather weird game. Ice Hockey. This is actually our first NES game that we bought when starting our new collection. Karate Champ. Very awful game. This is another copy of Blaster Master. I had to update the number because I didn't know that was a part of it. And Adventure Island. The next batch of games. I'm actually on a time limit, so I'm kind of going through this rather quickly. Are you bad enough due to rescue the president? No. Sky Shark. I get them mixed up with Sky Kid. Swords and Serpents. This was actually a game I played on VNES years ago. It's not a good game, but I played the crap out of it. Gauntlet 2. Golf. This is another game I played a lot on VNES. 8 Eyes. Good game? Potentially. Legacy of the Wizard. Yoshi's Cookie. Bad News Baseball. The Adventures of Lolo. Is it? Wizards and Warriors. Iron Sword. Godzilla. Super Pitfall. Goonies 2. Whatever happened to the first one. Only came out in Japan. I don't know how to spell that, but it's actually a really good game. It's not that expensive. Commando, which I tried very hard to beat years ago, but by the fourth world, it was just too much. I forget that I beat this game, actually. Bugs Bunny's Birthday Blowout. I actually have pictures to prove that I beat them, but I know that's not the most proof. Final Fantasy 1. It's actually a good RPG for NES. Kirby's Adventure, which, fun fact, this is actually the second highest memory stored game out of all the NES games. I think this was like 400 kilobytes. The biggest one being also from HAL. I forgot what it was called, Metal something. It was like 1 megabyte. Okay. Friday the 13th. I've beaten that one. Dino Warzy. I've beaten that. It's very boring, but I beat it. Gyromite. Sadly, I don't have stack up. Top Gun. I beat that one. That was horrible. Snake Rattle and Roll. This is actually a fun game to play with 2 people. Jackal. It's a fun game. Melon Sacred Castle. That game was not fun. That's a game I used to watch my dad play a lot. I have yet to beat this, only for one reason. For some reason, all the copies we've ever gotten from Battletoads just doesn't work. I have beaten this game. The last level was very stressful. Cubert. Totally rad. This game has kind of a funny story. I actually have the instruction guide for this game. It's actually pretty good. I first heard about it from Game Grumps. The first Star Soldier game, Ghost and Goblins, Top Gun Second Mission. I never played the second one because I had less motivation. King's Knight. Oh, I'm actually getting to some of the NES games I bought recently, like a few months back. Deadly Towers, 3D World Runner, Kung Fu Heroes. I actually bought all of these games a few months ago. X-Men, Where's Waldo, and Mission Impossible. Alright, we're on the last batch. Okay, the last batch. Nork. TNC Surf Design. My dad loves this game. Batman Returns. It's kind of like a beat 'em up. Rygar. That game is pretty fun. This is one of my most expensive NES games, actually. G.I. Joe. This game is almost $100 for some reason. It's at least $75, I think. Bionic Commando. That game is actually pretty fun. Gotta get used to the controls. Robocop. This game actually doesn't work for some reason. 1942. Back to the Future. This one also has problems trying to work. Toki. Oh crap, the rest of the games have like these layers on it. Give me a second. But got Willow, made by Capcom, weirdly enough. Kabuki, this is actually a really fun game. I really recommend playing this. I don't care how you play, just play it. They got Palamedes, just like a puzzle game. It's really fun. Fist of the North Star, which apparently in Japan only, they actually made more Fist of the North Star games. I like Fist North Star. I need to get back to watching the anime. I stopped watching it years ago because they took it off on Hulu, but Kid Cool with 2 Ks. Yoshi. Yeah, sorry if I'm not really pulling it up all the way. I have a lot of sleeves. The Shadow Gate on NES. Couldn't even get past the first door. Dick Tracy. Then there is Solomon Keys. And then lastly, not a good one to end it, Highlight. Ugh. And that is all of the NES games. Now, I won't be able to finish the rest of it until later today because I have to do something, but there really isn't much left. There's just Wii, 3DS, and GameCube. So, I don't think I'm going to be able to do the rest of it in the next video, but we'll see. So until then.